Hello and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. I am your host, Isabel Tate, and with me is my co-host.
Ron Tate.
Woohoo! We nailed it.
We did. Well, you did.
Yes.
All I had to do was say my name, which
Say my name, say my
sometimes I
name.
muck it up, but this time I got it right.
No, you did. You got it right. What you normally say, Ronald. It's Ronald here.
No, I don't think I ever say that because I actually never say it.
Oh, really?
No.
I don't know why. Such an awesome name.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Anyway, here we are with a little. Oh, you forgot to scroll back up. So I've got the mace.
you've got
I've
it.
realized it's it's a wireless mace. I can use it.
I can't be trusted, so I don't know why she's ever
No
tried.
offense, but you can't.
No.
Because you have no clue what you're doing.
No, half the time I don't even know where we're up to. So
And then you reread points that I've read, and I'm like, I've said that.
yeah, I'm just making it clear.
Anywho, where were we? Oh yeah, we've had a 2-week break. Apologies. But we couldn't be stuffed doing a podcast last week.
No, I mean we had some.
Well, I worked on Friday, and like the thought of racing home after a day at school, and then recording the podcast at whatever o'clock, and then I was tired. And I said, I originally we were like maybe, and then I got home and I said, I just can't. I'm too tired.
Yeah. No.
And Ron went, okay.
But I mean, because you'd stopped on the way home, it was about 4
Oh yeah, because I had to go to the post office to post T-shirts to my athletes. Yes, and so I'd done that on the way home. And when you've got a boot, everything takes 3 times as long. So I was just, and it's exhausting, and the mental strain of it all. I was like, I can't. I literally can't. So we were going to do this exact podcast and topic last week, but we didn't because, So catch up time. I can't even remember. Have we spoken since I've been in the boot?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so we went away for the week, for a night. So
I don't know. I think since we last did podcast, we may have bought the bike.
Oh, yeah, we did buy the bike because honestly, the bike's at the gym because we talked about it, and I'd stayed awake all night doing the maths, and I couldn't figure it out. And then Ron paid half, so so I didn't have to pay for all of it because he's going to use some of it too.
Yeah.
Just the back end of it. I don't know. He's going to use it occasionally.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the bikes at the gym, they are shit. Firstly, they're all rusted and gross and bleh, like just the sweaty asses and sweaty bodies all over it. Then they have supposedly computers, but none of them work. You can't see your RPM because it's dial and nobody's competing and we're all equal, you can't see what level you're on. So it's like, I don't even know if I'm getting any better or stronger. You can't see your RPMs. You can't see what distance you've ridden.
You can't replicate what you're doing.
You can't go, I'll use this as a motivation to get better. Nothing. The seats are wonky. It was just shit. And I was losing mojo fast, the will to live. And I just was like, bugger it, and I've always wanted to use a bike to, supplement my running. It's been a big thing for me, and I've never really done it. And I remember when I was in Canada last time, I went to my girlfriend Kara's place, and she had not an iFit. It was a different one, not a Nordic Track. It was a different one, but the same thing with a big screen. And she's like, you got to get one. And I'm like, I've always wanted one, but I was thinking I can't afford it. And she's like, they're awesome. You really need to get it. And she was showing me you can do yoga and all the things that we've got. And maybe it was a Nordic Track. Like I actually don't know. And finally we went, fuck it. And it was on special. So it was $1,000 off. So it was only $2,000. But you know what? It's been so much better, so motivating. I can see my heart rate monitor connects to it. I can see my RPMs. I can see my watts. I can see everything. It's so cool, and the distances. And I'm starting to go,
it links to Strava.
It links to Strava, so it immediately posts with these naff pictures of the, the thing. But I have done. It's Friday this week. I've done 216.85 kilometers on the bike.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah. So I feel a bit motivated again.
Yeah.
To be fair, it still does have boring moments. Don't get me
because
wrong.
it is
It's
still
not
a
being outdoor.
stationary
It's
bike.
still a stationary bike.
Yeah,
But, the trainers they have are good. And like this one trainer, Ashley Polson, who I quite like, and I didn't realize that she's just done the indoor treadmill 100-mile record, world
yeah,
record of 12 hours. And, I'd been saying how much I liked her and how I was saying to Ron, oh, she really thinks like I think and says the things that I'm thinking. And that's why I really like doing her rides. And yeah, and she's the one, and she's a cyclist on this, like
yeah,
because she does Ironman, but she also does like 12-hour milers on the bloody treadmill.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. And she's done Badwater. And so yeah, it's awesome. And then like I did a ride the other day with this guy, Hen Cappy, and I remember back in the day, that's his surname, by the way,
Right.
listening to Phil Liggett, commentating the tour and going, there comes Hen Cappy. And I'm thinking, oh, I know I'm riding with him.
Yeah.
I think he gave me a high five through the screen. That's what they do. They high five. And I'm like, that is so naff. But, like my heart rate in one of the interval sessions got up to over 160 on the stationary bike, sitting down. It was like, that's unheard of, like for
Yeah, the
me.
other day I got on and went for just a regular ride on it, and I rode through the streets of Japan.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
Tokyo.
go. Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of Ireland and, yeah, and
I
I've
ran,
been,
I ran through Ireland on the treadmill the other
that's
day.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, because of course we've got iFit on the treadmill that I will one day use. And like I went to Cyprus, I've been to Cyprus, I've been to Ireland, I was along the coast of California today.
Mhm. Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, so um,
it's great. It's great.
we're slowly developing the pain cave in
Yes,
the
we're
garage.
working on the pain cave in the garage.
It's official. There's no more room for the car.
My car sits outside now.
So,
Oh well.
which
It's
is
like out there going,
which is
what
real
about me?
really handy cutting down on car spaces when we've got the builders next door taking up 5 spaces along the front
Yeah, that's
anyway.
right.
So
Oh, yes. So anyway, such is life,
uh,
But yeah, yes, it was expensive. Um, but it's been already worth it to me
yeah,
because I think out of those bikes, like people have no idea how bad those bikes were. They were so shit, and it was hurting my hips because the seats were always wonky, whichever bike I'd go on, because they're just old, and it was just shit. It was just, and so yeah, I was gearing up literally and figuratively for an injury. And this bike, it's like silent, except it gets a bit creaky when I'm really wrenched on the handlebars.
uh,
Um, but it's so good. And this morning I was doing a ride through Japan, and it was just a steady endurance ride, and I was just getting a bit bored. So, I've got Netflix and Prime connected, so I watched The Pit on Prime while I was, he was still doing the chest compressions. Do you remember that last episode
yeah.
you watched? Yeah, the guy died, by the
Oh,
way.
oh, what a surprise!
I know.
I think he died 2 hours before he started doing the
Yeah, yeah.
testing.
Anyway, so I was watching The Pit, and still can see all your data while you're watching the telly.
Hmm.
It's a pity it doesn't have YouTube because I would like to be able to watch, like Tour de Géant
Hmm.
and other stuff. But anyway, either way, still pretty bloody good. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy with it.
So their Nordic Track is the
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah. And then you get iFit, which is the membership. And at first I thought, oh God, that's going to be a load of wank. Oh, and I almost didn't pay for it when I bought the treadmill because
Hmm.
it's like, oh, this is a lot of money, and that's another $500. And it would have been it was 500 for 1 year and 800 for two. And I went, oh, I'm not buying two just in case it's shit.
Hmm.
No, I wish I had, because that would have, yeah,
Hmm.
it's great. And the iFit that I bought on the treadmill works on the bike too, and I paid for pro membership, so it's up to 5 users.
Yep. So
So
I can use it too.
Ron has his own thing on it, so it connects to his Strava, and he can choose, and he can set up a calendar and whatever
Yeah.
he wants to put in, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Mm.
working well.
I think they need to
Getting lots
sponsor
of
me
cardio. Yeah.
after I've spruiked it like that.
Yeah. So you're still getting lots of cardio in
Yes, yes.
while
It's
while
not
you're
quite the
recovering.
same. I keep getting gaslit by my phone, by my health app going, ooh, your calories over the last 5 weeks, calorie usage has dropped. And I'm like, yeah, piss off. Calorie consumption hasn't dropped though.
Yeah. So what your phone's secretly telling you
It's
is
fat. Fat, Isabel.
don't eat so much, fatty.
Yeah, your calorie usage has gone down.
Uh,
Put a handbrake on it, Isabel. Yes, and we've had Easter in between all of
yeah.
that, so the calorie consumption has
So
definitely gone up compared to
that was very
usage.
bad timing.
Very bad. But I can't believe I don't know if it was gaslighting or it was just, fucking, I don't know, we call everything gaslighting these days, don't we? But it certainly was fat shaming me. And speaking of shaming, I went to the petrol station the other day.
Yeah. We've got this petrol station nearby, and the guy that works in there
It's
is
hilarious.
just always
A character.
just
He's lovely, really.
always leave,
With a
even though
smile.
you've just been basically
Robbed.
bent over and screwed from behind by the petrol company.
Yeah.
You still leave with a smile on your face.
Yes, yeah. I go in there with my boot on. He goes, "Oh, how's it going, cripple?" And then my petrol was $67, and he does the hands and goes, "Oh well, that's 6-7." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, of all the numbers."
Yeah, because he's young, but he's not that young.
He's not that young.
He's not 6-7 young.
He's not. He thought he was goddamn hilarious, and it was. I left laughing.
Yeah,
So
that's right. And you don't do that at petrol station.
normally it's crying when you leave. So yeah, so I couldn't believe it. He goes, "How's it going, cripple?" Speaking of cripples, when we went away for the weekend, we went into the city
Which we
because
did last weekend.
yeah, the weekend just gone because obviously wasn't running.
No,
And
it's our anniversary.
yes, third anniversary, 3-year anniversary.
Well done.
Thank you.
What date was it again?
22nd of
No.
April. I told my daughter.
Say it with confidence.
I was on the phone with my daughter on Messenger or whatever, and I was saying, "Oh yeah, it was our anniversary on the 23rd of April." And Ron's like, "22nd?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I think 23 was the year that was where I get confuddled.
Yeah, okay.
See?
Yeah.
Anyway, and we went into the city and we went to see, well, first of all, Ron got me a nice massage package and facial and whatnot, which was lovely.
Because yes, after dealing with the ankle, I seemed to think that you needed a bit of pampering.
Yes, thank you. And it was very greatly appreciated. I didn't want to get up off that bed, but yeah. And then we went and looked at the Rome exhibition at the Melbourne Museum, and then we went out for dinner. And one thing I did notice is this world. I mean, like I said to Ron, I'd hate to be any further. I'm not going to say crippled because that is bad, but disabled. That was because it was hard enough doing everything with a boot on, and it made me really realize how like we talk about accessibility and how but like the hotel we went to, they had lifts, or not the hotel, the apartments, they had lifts, but you had to take 2 stairs down to get to the lift.
Yeah.
So if you're in a wheelchair, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that's not accessible. It was hard enough for me in a boot to get down those 2 stairs. And do you know how hard it was?
And
the best story.
The footpaths are so narrow that
okay, yeah, we'll talk about that
enough
first.
walking down the footpaths with people assuming that you're going to get out of their way.
They would practically elbow me even with my boot on because they're so keen to look at their phone instead of head up and look around for people who might not be as physically capable as you.
Yeah.
I really would hate to be properly physically disabled because this world is not set up for it. So it really opened my eyes. Like I think the last time when I had a boot, which was, however many years ago, all I did was, I had young kids and I was working full time. And for 6 weeks, and my husband would never have taken me out to do anything. So I just did nothing. So I was either on my stationary bike, that we had at home, or I was working, or I was, I don't know, doing, cleaning, probably cleaning and cooking and pool running. Yeah, I was pool running, wasn't I? I wasn't on the bike. Yeah, you're right. Because I was going to say we didn't have the bike set up then. But yeah, I was pool running and that was all I did. So it's like, yeah, I really didn't realize. And obviously primary schools are well set up for wheelchairs and that. But The city, absolutely not.
No.
So let us get back to the apartment,
But
right?
dinner, we didn't speak about dinner. Dinner was lovely,
No.
wasn't it? We went out
Does
to
do everybody shh, does everybody remember
no.
when we went to New Zealand, Ron slammed the door, the glass door, which I was listening to the podcast later, and people might not have realized it was a glass door. That's why everybody could see what he did.
Yeah.
Glass doors for like 3 or 4 panels. And Ron slammed the door in my face and stopped me getting in and held it shut so that I got drenched, right? Laughing at me with an evil smoke.
Now he's gaslighting.
Then when we were at the apartment complex and I'm hobbling along, we've had dinner, we've had a couple of drinks, so my balance is shit with this boot on. So,
Okay, so first of all, you tell the story and then I'll tell what actually happened.
right. Well, I know what happened. I'm hobbling down the stairs and the lift is open with people in it. So Ron runs ahead and goes, hurry up, and goes in or something along those lines. Come on. And I'm like, hang on, down the stairs. And the lift door shuts and he goes off up to the room. And I'm left down there with the lift shut. And his last words were, come on. And I'm left behind.
Right.
And I have to get another lift because Ron's off having a party with whoever was in the lift. And he left me there stranded in my boot.
Okay. Now, what actually happened was
That's exactly what happened. I can tell. I was stood there and I'm like, literally, my husband just got in a lift and left me.
So as we were walking up to the lift, the doors started to close and then they stopped and reopened. So I thought, oh, they've opened the door for us because we were like 2 strides, or I was 2
You were
strides.
2 strides. I was 45
So
pulls.
I took 2 big strides and got to the lift door.
I was still at the top of the stairs.
And as I walked into the lift, I put my arm out to hold the door because that normally with a lift, if you put your arm across the door, it doesn't close. Well, this lift closed and closed on my arm.
And I was on my second step when I saw your hand, when I saw that when it shut.
And it shut on, literally shut on
Literally.
my arm. So I pulled my arm out so that it wouldn't close completely on my arm. And then the lift proceeded to go to the very top floor, which was 28, I think. It was 28th floor, which is where these 2 ladies that were already in the lift were going to. And the whole way up, I'm thinking, oh my God, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And the whole way up. And these ladies are just like going, are you all right? Like,
did they not realize what had happened? Really?
I don't think. I was like, oh my God, I've just left my wife down on the bottom floor and she's going to kill me. And so anyway, they go up to the 28th floor and get out. And as the door closes, I look down at the list.
I love all the excuses. Yes.
Like at the buttons. And as I'm looking at them, all the floors started to light up, like from floor 14 all the way down to the ground floor, start to light up along.
We were on floor 16, so why didn't you just get off at 16?
Because it was going down to.
Do you think I'm so useless that I couldn't go to 16 by myself? Well, that's what I was. Of course, I was scared. I wasn't going to sit there and wait for you. You didn't wait for me. Why would I wait for you?
So as I'm going back down the door, and literally every time the door opened, no one was there. The door half closed and then reopened again, and then closed.
So obviously they didn't reopen it for you. That's just what the door does.
At first, that was when I realized, oh no, they didn't open the door for me. That's just what that door does. So yeah, all the floors back to. I
can't believe you didn't just go straight to the room, like not because I went to the room and I'm like, because of course Ron's got the key to the room as well, and I go to the room and it's like. He's not even. I thought he'd be waiting there. The doors burst open. I was about to go, you little, and he wasn't even there. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's he doing? And so I had to wait. I just thought it would make sense. I
was coming back down to get my wife.
I thought it would make sense for you to just go straight to the room because that's what I would like.
Yeah, I know.
Surely you realised I'd go to the room. Why would I wait for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would wait for me.
No.
So anyway, that's my defense. It was totally.
You left your crippled wife on the second step, and after the steps, there was like 4 or 5 steps to get into the lift from there.
Two steps for a normal person.
Yeah, I was still on the second step, holding onto the wall, trying to get down, because of course they were tiles as well, so slippery as when you're wearing a stupid boot.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely not built for accessibility, that joint. Like they should, I mean, like imagine if you'd booked it and I was in a wheelchair, you know? So yes, anyway.
Anyway, so that
So we
was,
also went out to dinner. Yes,
yes,
we went to the Hofbräuhaus
yes,
for a nice German feast, and it
we
was
did,
lovely.
and it was a feast.
It was definitely a feast. It was really good.
Yeah, we ate so much that the kitchen staff thought there was more than one table sitting.
Yeah, that was more than one because we kept ordering.
Yeah. Because we like to order nice and slow, so we didn't order everything up front so that we could actually eat each course and
take that time, because
yeah.
otherwise you order at restaurants and they either bring entree and main out together, or they bring out the entree
and before you've even finished eating it,
yeah, like in the old days, they used to bring the entree, then wait a little bit, and they wouldn't put in the order for the main until they'd cleared the entree plates, right? Now they just give it all, and the kitchen just goes, well, we just want to get everything out there, and they just do.
Yeah.
And we were once at a Mexican restaurant, and she literally was carrying the entree and the main course in her hands and plonked it all down. And it's like, are you serious? Like, does the word entree mean nothing to you?
Yeah, that's right. They have it listed on the menu as an
entree. Yeah.
They bring it out with the mains.
Yeah. So anyway,
so we had quite a few drinks, several drinks.
Nothing crazy. We went to a wine bar first of all.
Oh my God.
And that was highway robbery. Like seriously, it cost us $48 for 2 glasses of wine. She spilled a bottle of water on me. $48 for 2 glasses, and they weren't, it wasn't like large servings. No, this was your standard minuscule, and it was just a Victorian wine.
Yeah.
And it was shit anyway. I mean, not shit, but average. It wasn't anything special.
No, it wasn't Dom Perignon.
Yeah, or anything like that. Like we wouldn't even spend $48 on a bottle, at the bands, At the Hofbräuhaus, the bottle of wine was $60 or something, which that's fine. That's
about standard.
Yeah, but $48 for two pissy glasses of wine. Oh, and then when I went to pay, it asked for a tip, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I'll give you a tip.
Yeah, charge
less. But you know what? They don't need to, because it was busy.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
The place was packed, so.
Yeah, like seriously, people can afford that, but anyway.
So and then after dinner we stopped at another bar.
Yep. And firstly, before the Rome exhibition, we stopped for bagels for lunch. And we had a coffee, and of course, me being Unco me, I was gesticulating as I talked with my hands and knocked Ron's. Was it your coffee?
No, it was your coffee.
Oh, it was my coffee.
Yeah, it was your
Ron's coffee into his lap, my coffee into Ron's lap. So luckily he was wearing brownish coloured shorts. So that was
when I was able to mop it up,
it sort of dried and blended in.
Yeah.
Then we were out at this bar having drinks, and I gesticulated again and threw my vodka and soda all over.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Oh, did you? And that was when I went, let's just go home. Let's just go back. Because it's expensive enough pouring a coffee, these days. But drink, an alcoholic beverage, Jesus Christ, that was the second child I'd sold, So yeah, I was just like, at least we know it wasn't because I was drunk, because I'd already done it when I was, hadn't even had alcohol. So it's just me and my hands gesticulating. Yeah. So yes.
So the next morning we thought we'd go to South Bank.
Oh yes.
We didn't want to stick around. We didn't want to walk too far.
Yeah. So we would drive there and
stop at South Bank and just have some brekkie.
Because last time we went to South Bank, there was lots of breakfast, and I've done. It's a common thing to go there for breakfast. Well, not anymore. Clearly,
it's a ghost town.
Freaking ghost town.
One place that was open
for breakfast.
And to sit, we're going to have to sit down the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, like right next to the kitchen, and
So we could have been anywhere.
Yeah, so we went, nah.
So,
none of it, there were some other restaurants, they weren't open, but there was also a lot of all restaurants closed. Like it's a ghost town. It was shit. So
well and truly killed that exercise.
Yeah, so Melbourne is defunct.
Yeah.
So we went Richmond and
Yeah.
we got a lovely breakfast, didn't
Yeah.
we? It was really nice.
We started heading for home and figured that Richmond was,
Yeah.
on the way, and
Yeah.
we've run past there where we saw cafes
Yeah.
along there, so we
Yeah.
thought we'd try there, and it was really
It was
nice.
nice. Yep. Yep.
Mm.
So we went there for breakfast and then we went back to real life and
And
did the
then
super.
tried to stay awake for the rest of the day because we were
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah, because we stayed up till what, 9:30, 10?
9:30, yeah.
It was
It's a
like,
late night.
whoa, it was so late. Yeah, but I think it's more like once you've had a few drinks, when you're not used to having a few drinks, it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
So yes. So anyway, so
So yeah,
yeah.
that's the update.
Yes.
No out, running adventures at the moment, sadly.
No, sadly.
We're trying
Having to have
make some other
drinking
ones.
adventures.
Yeah, trying to make some other ones instead.
Yes, yes. So this weekend, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to hop on the bike. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
We're going to go head to the Melbourne Front Yard Ultra tomorrow because one of my athletes, Toby, is going to be running there, and also just just to see a bit of the community, that sort of stuff.
Sean.
Yeah, say hi to Sean. Then on Sunday, I'm going to have coffee with Nikki and Nicole, and because they're doing, pardon me, Wilson's prom tomorrow. I saw her the other day. She was like, oh, yeah. And I said, oh, what run are you guys doing? She's going, oh, I'm going to Wilson's prom. I'm like, oh, and she goes, yeah, I wasn't going to tell you. And I'm like, it's okay. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Of course, Nikki and Nicole are the ones that did the Prosecco Marathon.
Yes, that's right. In case you're wondering, well, everyone knows Nikki Wind, but yeah. And everyone obviously knows Nicole. Well, they do know.
They do now, yeah.
She's the one that was saying that she likes listening to the podcast because it's like sitting with us having a coffee. So, Nicole, having a coffee, having a sip. Your turn. So, anyway, right, what are we talking about?
Today, we're very on topic for what's happening.
That's what we thought. We like to try and make it on topic so that at least it makes it easier with the podcast notes.
So we're talking about
coping. I'm actually going to take the boot off.
Coping with injury.
Coping with setbacks and injury, but mainly injury.
With what happens to your mind as well as your body when you're injured.
Yeah. And how to deal with setbacks in your running, because far out, this boot's hard to get off. I can't seem to loosen it. Can you? No, loosen it, because otherwise you get as a runner, inevitably you will have setbacks, like it's just going to happen. And whether it's sickness, overtraining, injury, when I say overtraining, I mean like an overuse injury, which is it's not really overtraining, overuse injury, possibly overtraining, injury like me from dumb shit. And sometimes some of the accidents you can have, you don't even do it when you're running. Like that happens. We've had an athlete who tore a thigh muscle playing pickleball. So, shit happens. Yeah. I was once cross-training on my mountain bike and fell off and broke my shoulder. So, shit happens. It's not always in running. So anyway, first of all, when you get injured, there's, the immediate emotional reality, not just the physical, right? Yes, there's a physical, but like as soon as I did it, I'm like, oh, what impact is this going to have on my training? What impact is it going to have on Tour de Géants? Me being me, I thought it was going to be nothing. But, at some point you realize this isn't just a little bit of an inconvenience. You realize it's actually a significant thing, right? And so, like I said, setbacks are part of the sport. Every ultra runner who's out there giving it a crack, or even every just standard runner, will face a setback at some point. And what
very unlikely is a runner that you never
that you come out unscathed. Yes. And seriously, like I've done dumb shit like running, and you run across the nature strip and there's a hole that you couldn't see in the ground and you fall into that. I've done that before. So not what matters is how you respond. And you've got to try to respond in a way that is helpful to yourself rather than not helpful to yourself. Okay? Yeah. So the first 48 hours when you've realized that you've really actually hurt yourself.
Yeah. So obviously grief.
Yeah. And it's okay. to feel like grief. Like grief sounds like a big word, but there is an element of that.
And there's different levels of grief. I mean, you're not it's not like you've got a dead relative, but it's still personally sad.
Yes, you've lost something. You
Yeah.
definitely have lost something.
Yeah.
Like I would been looking forward to being able to go, I've done those 3 races. What awesome training. I lost that whole, and that feeling, like I said to Ron, like that feeling of satisfaction when I finished a big race. I love that feeling of, I've earned this rest and recovery. And, instead I was resting and recovering going, I don't feel like I've done enough to,
You didn't even cover the distance that you're doing in training.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't like the long run didn't feel that long. So, you've lost something, a race, a training block, an identity for a period of time. So don't dismiss that. And, I hate it when people go, oh, yeah, but it's only a first world problem. You know what? We're allowed to have problems too.
That's right. We live in the first world.
Yeah,
we can still have problems.
We're still allowed to be upset about things, like, okay, so it's not, a third world problem, but you know what? It's okay to get upset about shit. And it kind of really rudely minimizes, oh, it's just a first world problem. Yeah, but to me, it's a big bloody problem, and it's something that's really upset me. And and I'm talking, when I say me, you can be saying that about yourself too, is what I'm getting at. It's okay to be upset. And sometimes I have athletes say to me, oh, first of all, oh no, I'll get over it. And I'm like, no, you're allowed to be upset. It's okay to be upset. And in fact, it's natural, and there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't diminish what other people in other countries are going through. Not at all. You're not diminishing that. We're not saying they don't have problems, but you are allowed to be upset about your own problems. It's okay. That's fine. It's acceptable to me. It does not diminish how hard other people in other countries have it. Or, other people in other socioeconomic demographics within your own country have it, right? So it's okay to be upset is what I'm saying. So be upset. And also it's okay to sit there in the upset for a little while. Like I did. I gave myself a day, didn't I? And by the next day I went, I'm already bored of being sad. And I've had my ups and downs, don't get me wrong, like the first 48 hours, but even then I went and got a second x-ray on Wednesday, and I had a down day because I can read those technicians like a goddamn book, and I knew it wasn't good. So, and even that first time when she did the ultrasound, like I knew the ligaments were fucked because of the way that she was behaving. So it's okay to get upset at different periods throughout the healing process. And I've had my down days. I have. And, just for a little while, especially when you first do it, it's okay to be sad. And at different points in it, it's okay to just sit with it. But you can't live there. You can't wallow in it, because honestly, it's not healthy for you, nor the people around you. Because when I'm sad about it, it's hard for you too, isn't it?
It is, because I'm caught between trying to be positive, for you, but also, I don't want to diminish what you're going through. So, it's hard to balance out trying to be positive and not dismissing what you're going through.
Yeah. So, like there comes a point where, you can only feel sorry for yourself for so long. And yes, and it does affect the people around you. And, positivity is contagious, or negativity is contagious. And if I sit there being negative Nancy about something that I literally have no control over, what's the point? So yes, be upset, be angry, be shitty. I was angry with myself, like fucking moron, not paying attention for that brief second. Like seriously, if I could turn back time, if I could find, oh bloody hell, you have no idea how much I want to turn back time. But sadly, I can't. So it is what it is.
The other thing you need to resist the urge to do is to immediately problem solve.
And immediately
make decisions.
Which I had already. I've just about entered.
Which will cover the next 6 months.
I'd almost entered the Maroondah Dam trail run, going, I'll do that, and you were like, are you sure you're going to be right for that? Yeah, I'll be right.
It's like a week after you take your boot off.
No, that was when we were still in New Zealand.
Oh, right. Okay.
No. You're thinking of Wandy Cross.
Right. Yes. That was Wandy Cross.
But I was like, when we're in New Zealand, I was like, oh, what I'll do is it'll be fine by then. I'll do, and you're like, just wait, don't enter it yet,
So if you don't know what the future is holding, then what if you go making plans, it just creates another disappointment or another
Yeah,
down,
yeah, it does.
depression
And I have to
when
admit,
you
because
can.
when I had to write the good luck message in my private athlete group for my athletes doing Marina Dam, I'm like, I was going to do this as my backup race. And I
Yeah,
can't. So I was very sad.
yeah.
Also, probably don't immediately Google your injury, because then what happens is every time you go on Instagram or Facebook, all you get is shit on your
Yes,
injury.
yes. Don't Google how what happens when you roll your ankle, because all you're going to get is videos of people rolling their ankles.
Oh my God, it's
And
heinous.
every time Isabel goes, "Oh, look at this!" I'm like, "No, no."
Or he hears me going, oh.
Then I have to put my hand up and not look at her phone because
So I
I
get
hate looking at it.
PTSD as I relive that moment. And you can't calculate your return to running. I've recalculated my return to running so many times, it's doing my fucking head in.
Yeah.
So, because we're having to recalculate at the moment, because
Mm.
yes, the x-ray showed that it hasn't really overly started healing, but I don't know what was expected within 2 weeks, to be fair. But
Well, you've got an appointment
with the physio on
with,
Monday.
yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully you'll know more by
But
then.
yes, the doctor rang me going, "Oh, you need to go and have surgery." She was freaking out, and I'm like, "Whoa!" And yeah, but I know, but she doesn't know injuries, and she doesn't
No, and
know
this particular doctor is very,
nervous Nelly.
yes, she'll always,
Err on the side of surgery.
yes, or on very cautionary.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
um,
very cautionary.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll talk to my physio, I'll see what he says.
yeah.
Also, don't compare your recovery to someone else's, although to a certain extent that has helped me, but hopefully helped me. Like
Yes, I mean, you
someone
have spoken to some people who have
had the same
yeah,
injury. I've even spoken to a friend, Tamika, who had the same injury at sort of end of May 2018, and then she did Tour de Géants September 2018. So she had the avulsion fracture and the ruptured ligament, same as me, and she got to Tour de Géants. So that gives me a lot of hope, and she's given me a lot of tips and on what she did, for ankle stability and strength and all that. So it makes me feel more hopeful, because also I'm probably a month ahead of her, although like on this time, I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, and don't make big decisions about your race calendar. I've had athletes come to me when something's happening, they're going, "That's it. I'm pulling out of my race in 4 months." And I'm like, "No, let's just wait. Calm down. Let's not make a decision this week."
yeah,
And then 2 weeks later, they're like, "Actually, I'll be all right. I'm glad I didn't,
yeah,
pull out of the race." They practically had the email written. So,
mm,
just wait.
yeah,
Admittedly, I did wait a little while, and then I ended up cancelling our accommodation for Wandy Cross, or not cancelling, changing it, because you can't cancel and
yeah,
changing when it is. And I emailed the race directors and said, "Look, and I fractured my ankle. Can I just defer my entry?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely." They didn't need medical certificates. They kind of know me. And also, that's what I love about Wandy Cross is it's that small race, you know, they trust me not to lie to them. And they're like, yep, just let us know
and
next
you
year.
didn't wait till a couple of days before.
No, I didn't. I told them as soon as I'd made the decision, as soon as I was told it was fractured,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm not going to get to that race, am I? And he's
no,
like, "No, probably not."
yeah,
So yeah, so and they were, "Yep, not a problem. That's fine. Deferred for next year." Because I said to them, "Look, I'm devastated. I love this race." And they
yes,
know because I'm always there.
yeah. You've done it many times now.
Nearly every time it's
Yeah,
on. I haven't done it on times when I've been away for Barclay and that,
yeah.
but oh no, not Barclay, because it's June.
No,
There's been something else
I
on it.
mean
Ultra Adelaide, maybe. We've
yeah,
been overseas.
overseas as well.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
just depends.
but generally if we're in
Melbourne, we do it.
Victoria, yeah,
Yeah,
we go up to
yeah.
do it.
So, don't suddenly quit everything.
Mm,
Just wait.
yeah,
And what should people do instead of doing Googling, getting chatters to tell them how awesome they are and that they should go and hop on on a broken leg 20 times?
see, it doesn't hurt. I can do this.
It didn't hurt. The only bit that hurt was because I was hopping in bare feet on a floor on the decking that had studs in it. And every time I'd hit a stud, I'd be like, "Ow!"
Yes. So
Hopping in bare feet
yeah, so
on a broken leg.
that's what someone had done at some point.
No, that's what Chatters told me to do, to test
Okay.
it. I'm like, what's the test to see if I can run? And it told me, and I passed the test.
Pass the test. I don't know
And
why.
all Chatters was basing it on was what the recommendations on physio. And this is why AI is great, but it doesn't have the nuance of human common sense.
Yeah.
Clearly, neither do I when it comes to myself.
Yeah.
But you would think if you could hop on it. I mean, the physio got me to hop on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're not going to need scans. It wasn't until he palpated it that he went, oh, shit, when I jumped. Anyway, sorry, what should people do instead of Googling and or chattering
You should
it?
get proper medical advice.
Actually, go see someone.
Yes.
Don't do an Isabel and go, I'm not going to see a physio. I'm all right.
It'll be all right. I'll just give it a couple more days.
Hello, who never goes to see a physio around here?
Well, me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and me, clearly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm no bloody best buddies with the physio. So, like I was with my knees, I was going for my knees too. Anyway, know what you're actually dealing with from a proper medical person, not a chatters. And before you plan anything, before you decide to not do anything, before you plan things, just get some proper knowledge.
Yeah.
And scans if necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't think just going, like I've had people go, oh, I'm going to go to the doctor when they say they've hurt something. I'm like, you need to see a physio because you could have a doctor like mine who freaks out. Worst case scenario, she practically amputated my leg, So I think, yes, you go to the doctor to maybe get the referral so you don't have to pay for the x-ray because goddamn, I paid for the first lot. It's $300. But don't rely on the doctor to give you advice what to do. The doctor doesn't know. The doctor is a generalist who did their studies 300 years ago. Seriously, don't.
You can either go and see a doctor who spends half their life dealing with colds and flus, or you can go and see a physio who deals with this problem day in and day out.
Yeah. Or, if you're going to see a doctor, make sure it's a sports doctor.
Yeah.
But, don't people go to just their general GP to save money. It's just not worth it. You need to see a physio about this or someone, a specialist.
Yeah.
Not bloody Doctor whoever. Doctor Who.
He won't help you.
No. All right. And it's helpful if you've got someone you can talk to about it. Like I had Ron who calmed me down and we sat there in front of the calendar and figured things out. But, as you can tell from what I've been saying, I talk about this sort of stuff with my athletes. So talk with your coach, because to be fair, most partners don't really understand. Like my ex-husband, there's no way I could have spoken about a plan with him. He'd have just gone, whatever. Well, I just wouldn't have even spoken about it because it'd been pointless, right? He would have been good. No, give up running.
Yeah.
That's what he would have said. So, because he said that every second week anyway. So you might not have someone you can talk about, and that's why it's so good to have a coach. But maybe you've got a friend or, and I've been talking about it with Nikki too, and because although I can talk about it with Ron, Nikki comes with it to me with the perspective of someone who's raced at a level like I have. So she understands that angst, right? So, yeah. Yeah, but have someone, hopefully, that you can talk about. If you don't have a person, talk to your dog. Talk to your cat. Serious, but that's
helpful.
Ask them
for advice. Just get everything off get everything off your chest.
See, with Jack, I used to tell Jack all my problems.
Right? He used to tell you his as well, didn't
he? He didn't have any. His life was
his eyes.
His life was heavenly. He just soaked up my problems and my sadness. All right, now we've got to reframe now. So what do we do?
Oh, well, there's a difference between bad luck and catastrophe. And it's people are very quick to catastrophize.
Yeah.
But it may not be as bad as it seems at the time.
Yeah.
Or
it always seems really bad. To be fair, it was worse than it seemed for me.
In this case, it was.
I uncatastrophized.
Yes, in this case, it was.
Sorry, I'm just having my cry here. Yes. So, and you get, even if it's an overuse injury, it's often not as bad as you think. Like even when I had the stress fractures, I mean, yeah, but it was never that bad. Like, I got over it eventually.
Well, I mean, there's been also in the last week or so, there's been times when you've been thinking maybe you're going to be in that boot for 6 weeks as well.
Yeah. I mean,
not thinking, but catastrophizing that you may be.
True. Well, I reckon I'll be in it for at least another week, if not 2. That is my frightened opinion, but I reckon. You reckon I'll be 8, do you?
I reckon you'll be out soon. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Do you want to have $1 million bet?
No.
Let's see.
Because I am not one of those
I know.
medical.
Yes.
What do we call it? A medical practitioner.
Yes. I am swinging between catastrophizing and being excited for the race, and like I'm not sure which. Like, oh my God. I mean, like I'm not even going to buy my tickets yet. Not that I've got to wait for my passport, but
which apparently you're not allowed to show teeth on.
yes, I got an email from the passport office going, your passport's on hold because your face was not in a relaxed position and we could see your teeth. And I'm like, oh, so I did and the reason I used an old photo because the one which I did when we got them recently, I looked like I had a smirk on my face, and I thought, well, they're not going to accept that because it looks like I'm smirking. So this one, it's the death stare.
Oh, jeez. I was on, once you showed it to me, I took 2 steps back.
You were scared. Now you know why the kids obey me at school. It was like, oh God, firstly, I look like I'm fucking 70, and then I look like so grumpy.
You were determined not to show any teeth.
No,
sure.
my mouth was shut. My face was completely neutral. Like there was no smiling, smirking.
No.
Oh, so if that doesn't pass muster, I'm fucking, I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway.
You're going to get another one saying, can you maybe not look so angry because we've had three people off sick through mental
trauma from looking in your photo.
From the look you gave them on your photo.
I thought it wasn't that bad, to be honest. I thought it was better than the other one where I was smoking. Because in that one I looked 100. Anyway, every serious athlete, and when I say serious, I mean, I'm not saying a winning athlete, I'm saying someone who's serious about the sport, which if you're listening to this, you are, has a version of this story of something happening. And the ones who come back stronger are the ones who have found something useful in the experience, not the ones who pretend that it was all okay and blah, 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 right? It's a learning experience. I mean, I'm sick of learning, but it's a learning experience.
Yeah, sometimes you want to stop learning.
I want to stop being strong. I want to just fucking like be weak for a little while, but no. Okay, so we've got to use these situations intelligently rather than catastrophizing about what I can't do or you can't do right now. I mean, I was catastrophizing a bit the other day, wasn't I? I'm not going to be fit enough, and do you know what? I was talking to Elizabeth, my daughter, today, and she goes, Mum, at the end of the day, with this kind of race, there comes a point where you can only be so fit, and by day 4, it doesn't matter how fit you are because it's all about mental strength. Yeah. And I went, you're 100% right. Like, because no matter how fit and heel strong I get for day 1, by day 4, it's going to hurt like a mother. Yeah. Right. And no matter, even if I was at absolute primo condition on the start line, by day 4, I'm still going to be questioning my life choices and wishing I was at home on the couch drinking wine. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So she was 100% right. And I thought, that's it. So what I really need to be working on, which we'll get to, is my mental strength. Yeah. But we'll get to that. Yeah. All right.
So forced rest is not wasted time.
Yeah.
You need to take the opportunity to build up your sleep.
Yeah.
Reduce physical load, which you're not doing too well at the moment, but because I do remember,
because I'm getting to the point of, I'm over 200 kilometers. I want to get to 300. I'm going to be 300 kilometers for the week.
That's right. Because I do recall you saying, after other long-term injuries where you came back
stronger.
Yes. But then I also heard you tell me the other day that you did 2.5 hours on the bike
I forgot to eat.
Without eating or anything like that.
I was feeling a little bit wonky donkey because I was like, oh, I'm just going on the bike. You don't need to eat for the bike. And by halfway through, I'm like, oh, fuck. But it was such a hassle to try and get off the bike because it's hard with the clip-in pedals on my ankle. It's a bit of a battle. Then I've got to put the boot on. Then I've got to, go get the food, then come back, put the boot back. Oh, my God. And I'm like, I'll just suffer through. But it's like, I'm not making that mistake again because I was really not feeling good. Yeah. And the rest of the ride was pretty shit. Like I wasn't up to par. So don't also do an Isabel and underestimate the physical load of what you're doing.
But yeah,
Because it was like, oh, it's not running, so it's not the same,
yeah. So eat, sleep. Don't, obviously you may not need to eat quite as much as if you're in full training mode,
But you
but you
actually
still
do
need to
because,
eat
yeah,
more.
well, pardon me, because of my big lunch, I've really upped protein for my, to help healing. And you still need to eat a lot. Like I was Googling, YouTubing ankle healing. And actually, I was looking, to be fair, I was looking for meditations for ankle healing and affirmations and that sort of stuff. So to listen to a meditation before bed. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it came up how to heal fractures fast. And everything in it, I said to Ron, I'm doing all of it, like upping protein, eating, they said eat more than you normally would, which I reckon well, maybe not more, but I'm certainly eating a lot. I haven't reduced my food, have I?
No, not at all.
Right. So, yeah. So do not look at this time as a time to diet. You need food. You need it to heal. Like your body can't heal without food.
And what we've discovered, probably not the ideal time to start sleeping in an altitude tent and reducing your oxygen.
Because you need oxygen to rebuild blood and bone.
Yes.
More on alert.
Yeah.
Because like I checked my oxygen levels after being in the altitude tent, and we only had it at 2,300, and we'd built up to that. And my oxygen was low. It said I was at 82%. You got to be at 85 to 87%. And I'm like, oh, we better drop the altitude. And then because I was Googling that, like what I should be at, it was like it came up to heal from injury. You need oxygen. I'm like, oh.
Of course. It made sense when we.
As soon as you realize it, you're like, duh. But, I thought, oh, well, seeing as I can't run, I'll get a head start on my altitude training. No. So we've nixed that for now. Yeah.
So we're back at sea level.
Sea level, yes. And anyway, because also your sleep isn't 100% when you're in a bloody sauna tent.
No. We discovered we don't need the electric blanket.
Oh my God.
Not that I ever do, but
no.
It does heat up in that thing.
It does. It's like putting on a sauna. In the 80s, they'd put on their sauna suits and run around. Well, that's what we're living in at night.
Yeah, when we wake up in the morning, there's a fair amount of condensation on the inside of the tent. It's
fucking gross. It is so gross. Anyway, so yes, out of the altitude tent for sleep. I need all the oxygen I can get.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I have said to you that I come back with better body awareness, better race goals, clearer race goals, and more deliberate training, and also more appreciation of what I've got, and appreciating racing more, and actually doing better in races because it's like, oh, I'm so lucky to be racing, than you did before. Because to a certain extent, you kind of start to get complacent. You take it for granted. You're like, whatever, another bloody run. And then you realize that old adage is true. I don't have to run. I get to run, and how lucky am I that I get to run?
How lucky you are until you can't do it.
Until you can't do it.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's hard to believe it when you're in it. And at the moment for me, it feels like, oh my God, this is going to be forever. I'm never getting out of this fucking boot. Geez, look at the time. I've got a webinar at 3:00 in 20 minutes.
Geez, okay.
I'm running up to, we better get a wriggle on.
Get a wriggle on.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
All right, so cross training. You can do pool running, which to be fair, I haven't done this time because I can go on the bike. If you've got the option of the bike, do the bike. Pool running, oh my.
Yeah, but I'm not sure pool running, because that is putting stress on your foot when you're.
I think pool running would be worse for me at the moment, because trying to run through it would be. You're right. Yeah. That's why pool walking was okay, but I reckon pool running would have been worse.
Even then, with the pool walking, there were times when you kind of slipped,
which scared me. Yeah. And also the pressure of the water, can I say this, against the my foot, but where the ligaments between, or tendons between the metatarsals were so strained, that water pushing on the foot hurt.
Yeah.
Or hurt, to a small, but it was uncomfortable. And it was like, oh, so I didn't love that. So, and pool running, so, only do it if you're allowed to do it. And it is great. Like I did it for 6 weeks, 6 to 7 days a week. Like seriously, you can do it. but I didn't have the option of riding. I wasn't allowed
Yeah.
on the bike. So, and it is boring, brutally
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
And you need a plan. Like I had structured sessions and I did, Tuesday, Thursdays was my quality. I did it like I've got a reel about it. Set up your cross training to mimic your running because it gives you structure, routine. You know, you want structured sessions, not just splashing around like a bloody draining whatever,
Yeah.
treat it like a real training session.
Yeah.
Cycling, and it depends entirely on your injury. So be physio guided with that. And this is the other thing. A doctor's not going to, their doctor's just going to say
Don't do
rest.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, rest.
Yeah.
You know. And obviously if you are allowed to do cycling, in general, it means stationary bike
Yeah.
because being out on the roads or trails has inherent risks, like me cross training and coming off and breaking my shoulder.
Yeah. And putting your foot down, on
Well,
a rock or
yeah,
anything
that's
that,
right. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, no, no, no.
um,
So, but you can definitely do strength work, even if you can't use your legs, you can do upper body. With my boot on, I can't do leg presses or calf raises, but I can do, leg extension, leg curl, the
hip
hip,
extensions,
yeah,
whatever.
abduction,
Yeah.
adduction, hip extension,
Yeah.
yeah, too, and all that sort of
Mm.
stuff, so you can do stuff. You've just got to find what you can do.
Yeah. So we're still spending as much time in the gym as we normally do,
Yeah,
but just working around it.
just differently,
Yeah.
and some people talk about how they work, if they can only work one leg, they work that leg. I think that's really wrong. Like doing one-legged squats on that one leg, then you're going to end up even more imbalanced.
Yeah.
As it is with a boot on, your muscles are going to atrophy within that. If you start them building up the other side even stronger, you're going to be totally out of balance
And
and
chances are you're just going to injure
get
it.
another injury
Yeah.
when you try start running
Yeah.
again. So it's either both legs or nothing,
Yeah.
right? And so the stuff that I'm doing is kind of both legs
Yeah.
because it's, leg extension. And like I said to Ron with the leg extensions, it's great with the boot because it stops that thing pressing into my shin and hurting it so
Right.
much. And I'm doing single leg for all of it.
Mhm.
Leg curl and everything. I just do it single leg with a boot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And obviously we still work as we normally would
With the
with the
upper
upper body.
body. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a bit harder for me to balance when I'm
Yeah.
standing there. Sometimes I
Okay.
kind of get the wobbles.
Yeah.
But anything that loads the injury is a no-go. So, Daniel had an athlete who broke her wrists. So we got rid of all her upper body strength training and, worked on lower body all the whole time.
Mhm.
It just depends on the injury.
Yep.
All right, mental coping strategies. This is the most important part. You can't control the injury, you can't run, right? So that you can't change that. So work on what you can. So you can control your sleep quality, your nutrition, your upper body training, your mental skills, your race planning. And that's why I did the lesson with Arcturus for the maps. And if you need to, write a list of the things you can control. Visualization, race rehearsal. So that's what I want to do is I want to break up the tour and look at the maps and start practicing. I just haven't had time because I'm so busy with work.
Yeah.
And so,
So
run it in your mind.
at the moment, just before you go to sleep,
Yeah,
you've got
I listen to meditations.
listen to put your
Yeah.
headphones on and listen to something nice and quietly while I'm reading.
Yes, that's right. Can you hear the plinky plonky music? No, that's okay. So I was listening to this book, when I'm driving the car, and they talked about this research, which I have heard before, but it reminded me of they had three groups of athletes or two groups of athletes or people, weren't even athletes. And they got one group to strengthen their little finger, do exercises, and so it was three groups, sorry. They had the other group not do the physical work, but mentally focus on strengthening their finger, mentally do the exercises in their head. And they had the control group that did nothing. Right. So at the end of the research stage, the group that did the exercising increased their strength in their little finger by 50%. The group that was the control group, they didn't increase it, obviously. The group that did the mental strength training of their finger in their head, obviously, increased it by 33%, the strength in their finger. Now, that just goes to show the power of your mind and visualization. I also remember many years ago, some Olympics or Commonwealth Games where there was a shooter. I don't know if you remember this. And he'd been injured and unable to do any shooting for in the lead up. And he'd done all mental rehearsals. So he ended up getting a gold medal.
Okay.
Right? So visualization, mental rehearsal, all that sort of stuff. When I've been watching any YouTube of, Tour de Géants or even running in the trails at all, as I'm watching it, I'm imagining myself running on that easily across the technical terrain. It all has an effect because your body can't tell the difference between reality or what's in your mind, because either way it goes through your mind with the visualization. So if it can increase the strength in a bloody finger, think about what it can do for your body. And I'm talking to myself as much as you here, guys, right? So focus on your mental skills, focus on your rehearsal of it. So I'm really, I've got to up my game on this because I've just been slack in the last week because I've been so busy with work, but I have to make the time. I've got to make time for me too, not just my athletes, to be honest. All right. So if you are in the injury trenches with me, start doing some visualization, break down the race like I've done, get onto CalTopo, start working on that because you can see it in 3D and everything. Yeah, it costs $100 a year or whatever. Whoop-de-doo. We just spent $48 on 2 glasses of wine. I think, put it in perspective, guys. That's a year of CalTopo for $100, not 2 minutes. Some people like journaling and processing. Like when I messaged Nikki the other day and I was saying, I'm feeling down. She goes, oh, why don't you journal about your feelings and blah. And I thought about it. Instead, I did a reel. That was my journaling. I'm not a journaler because my writing is a dog's breakfast.
Because once you put it down on paper, you'll never be able to read it again.
And even as I'm writing it, first thing my hand hurts, my fingers hurt, then it starts hurting up my arm. Then it's such a scrawly mess. I get upset with myself. So it's like, it's not worth it. It's more traumatic to write. Yeah. Okay. Comparison on social media. Yeah, or just looking at all the ankle rolling injuries.
This is a big one. People heal differently. Different things work for different people.
Yeah.
Yes, you might get some ideas on exercise and things that you can do to help with recovery, but you really shouldn't
use that as your
to theirs.
No. And also don't look at everyone having awesome runs and go, oh, I wish I was that running. You also need to be happy for them, be happy for them. And yes, just because an influencer says this is what healed their ITB, don't do it. Go see a physio. Yeah. Seriously, honestly, the things I hear some of the influencers or runfluencers saying, it makes me, except for me, I'm awesome.
The first thing you need to understand with a lot of runfluencers is they're being paid.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not being paid to say anything. Yeah. That's why.
If they're telling you how great this product is, it's because they're being paid to tell you.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So take everything with a grain of salt. Unless they're spruiking the salt too.
We know when we watch television and there's an ad, they're being paid for that ad.
Yeah, that's
right.
We
seem to think that when we see it on the internet,
it's not an ad. It's an ad. More often that so much of what you see on Instagram is an ad.
Yeah.
Or Facebook or whatever. All right, stay connected to the sport. We've spoken about this before in that previous one about volunteering. Yeah. Volunteer at a race. We're not volunteering tomorrow, but we're going to go out to the race and sort of be a little part of the community. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, because I'm getting sick of you, Ron. No, just kidding. It's just good to see people within the community, And I did say that to Ron, with Wandy Cross. I said, should we just go there and volunteer? But then we're like, it's a 4-hour drive. Oh, I couldn't be bothered,
And plus, there's, with your boot, there's not a lot.
Everything's a pain in the ass.
Can actually do.
Because I'm not meant to be standing for hours on end. Yeah. But go.
We could have done something in the finish line, but we couldn't have got out on course.
No. Yeah, I could have only been sitting at the finish or maybe doing gear check, but they don't do gear checks. Thank God. That's why I love that race. I love it. It's the best race.
Get on it. That race generally means standing around the fire trying to keep warm.
That's right. But I love that too because everyone chats and everyone's lovely. Oh, I'm so sad. All right, engage with the community in other ways. Listen to podcasts like this one's. Look out for webinars. I do free webinars. Heck, even pay for a webinar. Woo! We paid $48 for 2 glasses of wine. I think you can afford to spend $15 on a webinar.
You've really been scarred with that wine.
$48. Jesus, Mary.
And we think paying, $30 at the local
Yeah, local pubs are
pub.
rip off.
Yeah, well, holy shit, that's
But we,
$15
you
each.
know, we're around all these posh people, so we're like, no, okay.
Yeah, because I think
To act like it was
I
normal.
think it only cost $20 per glass, but then because it was Anzac
Anzac
Day,
Day,
we had to pay a
Saturday,
surcharge on it as well.
$4,
Which yeah,
which was obviously $4 a glass. I can help.
yeah. So
Look into the race, do research, on your race. Get into, go help a park run in some way. You could probably sit maybe if you can't, I don't know, find something.
yeah,
Then most importantly, sorry, it's 10 minutes to my webinar. And if I'm too late, they don't let me in. This is with my business coaches, folks. So return to running. Don't rush the return.
no, that's right. You don't want to
Okay.
end up right back where you started.
No, so and I'm saying this to myself, it's my mantra, don't rush the return.
Mm,
As much as I want to, I also want to be smart because if I rush the return, my ankles are not going to hold me up over 360 Ks.
yeah.
Okay, feeling ready and being ready are different things because by God, I feel ready to run.
So you felt ready a week after you did the injury.
Yes, I did. I
Yeah,
wanted to run 10 minutes,
yeah,
remember? And it
yeah.
hadn't even been a week.
No, it hadn't been a week. We hadn't even gotten home.
Yeah. But luckily, I couldn't be
Yeah,
stuffed. All right. But coming back is its own psychological hurdle, fear of re-injury. I know, certainly when I was returning from the stress fracture, every time I'd run, the pain.
mm,
It wasn't pain, it was like phantom pain. Like, is that it? Am I re-injuring? And I hear that from so many athletes when they go back after an injury, the fear. And I
mm,
know I'm going to feel that a bit,
yeah,
but and it's going to feel weird running again. Like I was saying that to you yesterday as we were walking to gym. I think I've forgotten how to run.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to know what to do. I'm going to look like Phoebe.
Where's the left, left,
Yeah.
right?
Like, I don't
What do I do?
know. And so, you've got to learn not to test your injuries,
Yes.
folks.
Yeah. I trust that they're improving. You don't need to prove it
You
every
don't need
time.
to test it every 5 minutes. Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Okay. I haven't been testing it since I've had the boot. So
yeah.
there you go.
You've been very good with the boot. Like
I have been, haven't
even
I?
to get up and move around the house, if you've taken the boot off, you'll actually take the time to put it
Yeah.
back on.
Because if you said when I'm sitting around, I can take the boot
Yeah,
off, but then sometimes I do forget and I get up and then I'm like, oh,
yeah,
but yeah, in general, I try to remember to put the boot
yeah,
on because it just feels so normal. Like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with
yeah.
me. All right. And so basically, setbacks are not optional in this sport.
No.
They're actually a part of it. Injuries are not optional. They're part of it. Like even as a mountain biker, I used to get injured, going over the handlebars and that sort of stuff. Knee injuries from my seat height or cleat position, whatever. You look at netballers, they're always doing something to their ankles. I saw
Mm,
Sean Bell, poor Sean Bell. He's just recovered from his foot injury from running around Australia. He was about to go do a race. Oh, it must have been the Sky Race in Tassie or something. Anyway, he played basketball the night before he was going to leave. And guess what he did? He
mm,
rolled his ankle. It looked more swollen than mine does
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
And he looked devastated. So it happens. And like I said, it doesn't even have to happen in running. It happened to Sean in basketball. I've
yeah.
fallen off my bike, so it happens. And the response is what defines you, not the injury itself.
Mhm. Yep. So just remember that an injury is not the end of the world. It's not even the end of your running, but
No.
the,
Even though it feels like it,
it
because it
may feel
feels
like
like it
at
at the
the time.
moment.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, let's enter this cycle right. Well, I do tend to go overboard and I become a cyclist
yes,
again.
you
I've
do.
done that before, like I entered the 12-hour race. I got a cycling coach and came second in the cycling 12-hour. But still, cross training is great. It maintains the body and it gives you some endorphins. Look, see, there's a
Yep, there
reminder.
it is.
Shit, starting in
Yes.
5 minutes.
Okay.
So mental skill work maintains the mind, community keeps you connected. So do all of this. And if you need mental skills help, which can I tell you 90% of ultra runners do, join us in the Ultra Mindset Lab. Honestly, it is going off. We are going through so many topics. Comment Edge on any of my posts and on social media, and you will get sent something. I've just got to restart that automation.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
shit.
don't minimize your injury. Treat it properly.
Yeah, treat it properly. Respect what your body has gone
Yeah.
through. And you know, honestly, I feel you. I feel your pain clearly because I'm here. And I'm devastated and I'm scared about what's going to happen with Tour de Géants, but then I'm also equally positive. I'm also equally like, well, this is kind of an exciting challenge. I want to show that I can really overcome this and really, do really well for me. I'm not saying win Tour de Géant, but do well for me, a 55-year-old middle-aged woman, and see what I can achieve,
Yeah.
So kind of look at it as a challenge too. Like, this has been, I kind of said that to you. The universe has sent this to test me,
Yeah.
to see how much I really want this, and I'm up for the challenge.
Yep.
Are
Absolutely.
you up for the challenge?
We'll find out.
Yes. So, join me in this challenge. Go break your ankle. No, don't. Don't.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it's a challenge, but you will get through it. I know, like I say, in the moment it feels like it's forever, but it's not actually forever.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like forever and it's dragging like all bloody get out. But,
So the takeaway is injuries aren't injuries, they're challenges.
yeah, they're challenges. That's
Yeah.
it. It's just another challenge. And that's what, there's one thing ultra runners are good at.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
All righty. On that note, I think we'll put a pin in it.
We better get going.
It's got 3 minutes. This must have been a long podcast because I'm sure we had plenty of time.
Yeah, no,
I thought I was going to have time to put out the podcast and everything. I'm going to have to, do it while I'm listening. No, I'm paying $1,200 a month. I'm going to pay attention because people who pay attention.
Yes.
All righty. Have a great day, week, month, whatever. If you're at the Melbourne Front Yard Ultra, come and say hi. You'll know me because I'll be the one hobbling around in a boot. And say to me, if you've listened to the podcast, then say to me, how's it going, cripple? I dare you. I won't be offended. Don't worry. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Oh, press that one. Bye.